Hi, this is Jamie from the White Elephant. Welcome back. My message today is about why context matters. We have Bible verses that we've heard since we were children and have even memorized these verses. I'm going to read a part of Philippians 4, and many of these verses might be familiar to you. They become touchy-feely verses for many. In Philippians 4, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say rejoice. Let your reasonableness be known to everyone. The Lord is at hand. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. I rejoice in the Lord greatly that now at length you have revived your concern for me. You were indeed concerned for me, but you had no opportunity. Not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. So let's talk about the context of Philippians 4. Where was Paul? Was he in a castle writing these words? Was he living the good life when he penned these words? Why context matters. Paul was in a storm. One would say a very dark storm. Paul was in a prison when he wrote this. He didn't know what his near future would be. He didn't know if his fate would be death for being a follower of Jesus. I have prayed for the thirst of his word. It is when you read the entire context by reading book by book, chapter by chapter, that you truly grasp the truth. Are you facing a storm in your life right now? Are you struggling? Most people would say yes. God's command is for us to rejoice in the Lord always. It doesn't say when things are going well. Oftentimes things are not going well. Like the famous song, It Is Well With My Soul, starts out with, when peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. Once you know the story behind the song, you will see a different context. Mr. Spanford was a successful attorney and real estate investor who lost his fortune in the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. Around the same time, his 4-year-old son died of scarlet fever, and he thought a vacation would help his family. He sent his wife and 4 daughters to England, and he was going to join them after he handled some business affairs. However, while he was crossing the Atlantic Ocean, the ship was involved in a terrible collision and sunk. His wife, Anna, survived the tragedy, but his 4 daughters perished at sea. His wife sent a telegram to her husband that read, "Saved alone, what shall I do?" He immediately set sail for England, and at one point during the voyage, the captain of the ship, aware of the tragedy, summoned him and told him they were now passing over the very spot where the shipwreck occurred. As he thought about his daughters, his words of comfort and hope filled his heart and mind while he wrote the now famous song, It Is Well With My Soul. There will always be storms that we face, and oftentimes tragedies. But with faith from a loving God, we can say, it is well with my soul. Again, context matters. Can you read Philippians 4 the same way, knowing that Paul wrote that in prison? Can you listen to the song, It Is Well With My Soul, the same way, knowing that what he went through, losing 4 daughters and a son? We cannot. I urge you today to dig a little deeper, to pray more, and to seek Jesus. Without him, there is no hope. I just want to reflect on how context matters. My prayer is that you guys get into the Word, dig a little deeper, and get the whole story behind these Bible verses. These are not sing-songy verses. These are not tickly-feely verses. We need to know the true contents of them so that when we are going through these storms, that we understand what this really means It is well with my soul. And rejoice in the Lord always. That's a command. Paul thought he was going to be dead. He thought he was going to die in prison for his faith. And still he wrote those words. He penned those words. Rejoice always. See me next time on The White Elephant.